Hello everyone, welcome to Chess Fight. And today I'm going to show you the game between Anatoly Karpov versus Gary Kasparov. This game was played in 1985 in the World Championship, and this was the game number 60. And this was one of the best game in the world, so you will enjoy. So Anatoly Karpov is white and Gary Kasparov is black. So let's start the game. So Anatoly Karpov started with 1 e4. Gary Kasparov replied with c5, knight to f3, e6, d4, c into d4, knight into d4, the Sicilian defense, knight to c6, knight to b5, d6, c4, knight to f6, knight to c3, a6, taking the knight from the b5 square, knight to a3, d5, opening up the position, c into d5, e into d5, e into d5, knight to b4, creating pressure on the d5 pawn and preparing to take the pawn on d5. Here bishop to e2, simply sticking to the plan, simply castle. And here Gary Kasparov played bishop to c5. Here Gary Kasparov didn't took the pawn on d5. That's why this game is so interesting. Okay, so after bishop c5, white plays castle, castle, bishop to f3, giving a protection to the d5 pawn, bishop to f5, bishop to g5, pinning up the knight on f6, here rook to e8, queen to d2, b5, rook a d1, giving more protection to this d5 pass pawn, here knight d3, and here Anatoly Karpov played knight ab1. Guys, this was not the best move for white. The best move for the white is to play in this position is d6. The idea of d6 is that now the bishop is attacking the rook on a8. And okay, the bishop is obviously very powerful on f3 now. So if Anatoly Karpov played d6, then game have been continued with queen into d6, bishop into f6, queen into f6, and bishop into a8, rook into a8, and this is an equal game. And okay, black is slightly better in this position as the black pieces are just too active comparatively to the white pieces, and white is just playing very passively in this position. So this would have been a great position for for Gary Kasparov to play. That's why, and after playing knight d3, Anatoly decided to play knight a b1. So here Gary Kasparov played h6, bishop to h4, b4, attacking the knight on c3, then knight to a4, attacking the bishop on c5, a bishop to d6, bishop to g3, rook to c8, b3, g5, just pushing the pawn and giving some pressure on these bishop. Here bishop into d6, queen into d6, g3, preparing to play bishop g2 and giving some protection to the king on g1. So here knight to d7, and here bishop to g2. Guys, bishop g2 was not the best move in this position. Much better move in this position could have been knight to b2, asking for a knight trade, something like knight into b2, queen into b2, and white is doing fine in this position. And if black doesn't take the knight on b2, then white will simply play knight to c4, attacking the queen, and then the queen will move from the d6 square, something like let's play a5 for black position, a knight to c4 attacking the queen, Here queen f6 and here d6. And white is having a very good knight on c4 and white is doing fine in this position. But after knight d7, Anatoly Karpov decided to play bishop to g2, here queen to f6, here a3, at attacking the b4 pawn, here a5, a into b4, a into b4, and here queen to a2. Guys, queen to a2 was not the best move in this position. As you can see, white is just too passive in this position. So the best move in this position is to play king h1, trying to play f1 in the future and getting some counterplay on the f1. So this would have been the better choice of Anatoly Karpov rather playing queen a2, but he gone for queen a2. So after queen a2, Garry Kasparov played bishop to g6, here d6, g4, stopping all the counter plays with h3, f3. So here Karpov play queen to d2, king to g7, f3, trying to open up the position. Here queen into d6, f into g4, queen to d4 check, king to h1, knight to f6, planning to take the pawn on g4 and play knight to e3, attacking both the rooks. So rook to f4, attacking the queen. So your knight cannot take the rook because the queen is hanging on d4. So here knight to e4, preparing to play knight to f2 check at some point. So your queen into d3. Here many of you thinking why Garry Kasparov gave the knight on d3, but knight is not dead because here comes the powerful move by Garry Kasparov playing knight to f2 check. Now the queen is also attacked, and here comes rook into f2 and now bishop into d3. Here rook to d2, queen to e3, rook into d3, rook to c1. Here white cannot take the queen because of after rook into e3 comes rook into d1 check, bishop f1 force, and here rook into e3, and black is just winning in this position with these two rooks, as the bishop and knight also going to fall in the future. So after rook c1, Karpov played knight to b2, protecting the rook on d1. So here queen to f2, knight to d2, here rook into d1 check, knight into d1, rook to e1 check, and guys, in this position after rook e1 check on the 40th move, Anatoly Karpov resigned the game and Garry Kasparov won the game. So guys, this was the interesting game and a fabulous game played by Garry Kasparov. As we can see, when Garry Kasparov didn't decided to capture the d5 pawn, and he gone for bishop to c5, and in the end he won the game with because of this weakness of d5 pawn, because uh, at all time Karpov was defending the d5 pawn, but at last because of d5 pawn Garry Kasparov won the game. So guys, this was the fabulous game by Garry Kasparov and Anatoly Karpov. So if you like this game, then please like my video, subscribe it, and thank you for watching.